Welcome on today's edition of the program at the Marina. Today, I am the host, Hope Orivri. With me today on the program are members of the Association of Marine Engineers and Surveyors, and they will be speaking with us on the 16th AMES Technical Summit. They will be speaking on a number of issues, particularly the lineup of events for the day, which is due to take place on the 19th of September 2024 at the Radisson Blu Hotel here in Lagos. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for being with us. With me today in the studio, we have the president of AMES. He's Engineer Israel Obadan. You're welcome.
Thank you.
We also have the first vice president. He's Engineer John Oyedeji. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And we have also the secretary of AMES. He's Engineer Kato Abuja. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So let's just kick it off. Your 16th AMES Marine Technical Summit is scheduled for a few days from now. That is on the 19th of September 2024. It's taking place here in Lagos. And I know you have a lineup of papers that will be delivered. For me, I think the very interesting thing is the theme of the summit, which says marine transport and the blue economy, a route to success.
Yes.
So, give us heads up what people should expect for that day.
Thank you so much. The Marine Technical Summit, organized by Association of Marine Engineers and Surveyors, is one of our main flagship events for the year. It's an annual event. The purpose of this summit is to expose the association, our activities, what we do, what we are, who we are, to the outside world. Because we found out that over the years, Nigeria is still very ignorant about maritime activities. The ones they know, the maritime they hear about or they know about, other type of maritime, the trading aspects, but the technical aspect of maritime, which we deal with as marine engineers and surveyors, is what we actually want to showcase to enlighten Nigerians much more about our activities, what we do, so they know about us and learn about us, because there's a lot we'd like to give.
Okay.
And we have been giving, even though on a very quiet basis.
Okay.
But now we feel the onus is on us to enlighten our people, because there's a lot of activities in maritime affairs.
Okay, fine. I'll take it from there. You see, there are a lot of activities in maritime affairs. We know Nigeria just established the newly established Marine and Blue Economy Ministry.
Yes.
And like you just mentioned earlier, marine engineers do quite a lot. How do you plan to support, improve, contribute to the growth of this new ministry?
Yes.
And our interest
That
is
was
is it embedded in the things, the lineup of things you want to do in this year?
Yes. Based on this question you just asked, is the main reason we have invited who and who in the maritime industry. The onus is on them to oblige our invitation and learn from what we are going to talk about. There will be paper presentations on different aspects of marine business, mostly technical anyway. We want them to come and listen to us, see what we can offer. We are presenting ourselves as professionals to whoever, not just the government, even the private entity, to come listen to us. Because at the end of the day, it's a service we are rendering, I would rather say at our own expense, right? So, we want, I could say, encourage us to come further out, give what we have to them, mostly free of charge. We are not asking for any remuneration or whatever. Let them at least listen to us.
Okay, I think this will actually serve as a ground, a platform for people to truly come and listen and hear and understand what AMES is actually doing or has been doing. Now, I want you or any one of you can contribute to talk to us about the issue of safety. I hear it all the time. Mariners say safety first. Good enough. This year's the 2024 World Maritime Day, the theme focuses on safety first. Can you just give us a word around safety concerning the operations of mariners in the marine environment?
Yes, I think
Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. You see, safety is the very bedrock of the professional practice. If whatever we are doing, we don't do it safely, we would not. In fact, the cost of ignoring safety is enormous. Huh? So, but granted, in the past, the maxim has always been safety first. But we must understand now, in the oil and gas industry, which is aligned to us, to maritime industry, it is planning first. It's not as if they just seeing safety. Safety is part of the planning. But you sit down before you have any job done, before you set off on a voyage, you plan. That's what they call voyage plan. And how do you do it so that everything, and another maxim is, we want you to go back home with all your fingers. We want you to go back home with your families. We don't want you to go back home in a box.
Let me chip in this. I know everybody wants to work so that they can go back home whole and be able to come back to work. There are many times when maritime emergencies happen. People who are not working within that environment, they tend to wonder why, what happened. Sometime in March 2024, we saw what happened in Baltimore when a vessel rammed into the Baltimore Bridge.
Yeah.
So what was that problem? Many times people say, oh, accidents are accidents. Are they usually or mostly human errors, or are they mechanical as a result of mechanical faults?
Okay.
What happened? Did they not plan properly, or was it just an accident that happened?
Yeah, that incident, like you said, there will always be accidents. Like they said, there can never be too much security. The particular issue you talked about, that big vessel running over the bridge. Yes. I would say it's a combination of human error and coincidence. I'll tell you what I mean. From what you learned, the stories they gave to us is that they had power failure. Power failure on the ship is provided by generators. And on the ship, you have more than a ship of that size. I'm sure they have about 4 generators. In case one fails, the other one takes over. In case the third one fails, the other one takes over. You understand? But will you believe that they still had a blackout? They still have power failure. Or there could have been a systemic problem that could have caused, maybe that is common to all those generators that caused all of them to fail. Right? So it wasn't like, that's what I'm talking about, coincidence. So it's just possible that the operators, in this case the engineers, who I'm sure they are responsible for maintaining those generators, operating those generators, could have done all they had to do. But such a scenario of coincidences happened. Even with those 4 generators, there is supposed to be an emergency backup power plant, power generator as well. Okay? Would that have failed? Or is it that the power that one was generating wasn't adequate to keep the ship out of that circumstance?
I'll put in this question.
Yes.
Engineer Oyedeji was saying something that planning has to be a lot when it comes to issues of safety. But I also want to navigate through another aspect to say, what about the quality of the manpower people who man these vessels,
Yes.
who work in the marine environment,
Yes.
how well trained, what's the manner or nature of training they should get and skills. Engineer Kato, you can talk to that. And then I want you to talk particularly to our own environment. How well are we doing manpower development for the marine operations?
Okay, thank you very much. This accident we are talking about, in fact, it was being live actually when I was looking at it, what was going on. I was just imagining myself in that position. So, what? So many things came to my mind.
Yeah.
I said, well, I was assuming the maybe the engine has failed.
Yes, I was going to
Okay,
ask.
fine, the
Why
generator,
engineers?
maybe the generator has failed as well. But then, could it have been the emergency generator has failed? Because the moment it fails, the emergency generator, it starts and it feeds power directly to the steering gear that will now enable you to maneuver. So I continue to think about these things. I couldn't get answer immediately. But then I said to myself, fine, assuming fine, they cannot steer. Can't the chief officer, can't they logo their ankle? There are a lot of things coming into my mind. I said, as you said, you see, human error plays very, very important.
And that's why I say I want you to talk
Now,
the issue of
It can come issue of training can be there. Manpower can be there. Now, are we saying that maybe people are not really trained? Maybe he who was supposed to be on duty, maybe, which I believe maybe was on duty, maybe he was involved doing one thing or the other, maybe not paying good attention. Good attention, because if there was to be a failure, there must be some signals that will say, yeah, something is going wrong, you're getting prepared for that and that. And in most cases, you parallel kind of generators.
Good.
In case this one goes, one should be able to take up the load.
Based on that, can you please talk to this issue of what fatigue can do to seafarers?
Yes.
I'm happy now. I'm happy you raised that question.
Yes, you can contribute to
I'm happy you raised that question.
Yes.
In every vessel, in the system, you have what we call the procedure for carrying out these things. Internal audits are carried out to verify that you do what you said what is written in paper. You go by the books. It's very easy to say, oh, the internal auditor went there, he checked they checked this item, everything is okay. The external auditor comes, he checks what the internal auditor did, but he did not have any observation or recommendation. So everything is okay. For the guys who are operating the equipment day by day, are they not being overworked? The factor of minimum manning comes in. The minimum rest hour comes in. Are they obeying that, or they are just taking that this is what is required? We have done it. The guy comes, verify that they are doing it. Are they doing it? Unfortunately, every procedure, every rule in the profession is written in some people's blood. It's after people have died. They will not say, okay, let's sit down. How do we avoid this kind of situation?
Talk to this.
Yes. We talked about training, the extent of training of mariners. That is one profession, I tell you, even before the world started learning about training, right from inception, over generations, the issue of professional training has been taken very seriously in the marine business. That is why you see all these conventions coming out, right, to prevent accidents. every amendment you see is always after incidents like this. Accidents, some accidents could be near misses, but once the international body, which is the IMO, that takes charge of all this maritime business, once they get to know, we are supposed to report to them anyway, whatever entity, you're supposed to report to them so they take preventive action next time. So, if there are series of accidents happening like this, different type of accidents, they go back to amend the convention to take in remedial actions and incorporate in the new amendments. So the issue of training, prevention of accidents, even security has come in as a new business too, piracy and all those stuff. They are issues that are taken seriously by the international body. So that is why it takes a lot, so many years. When you tell people, for me to qualify as a chief marine engineer on the ship, minimum of 10 years. Minimum. Because it's a profession of theory and practice. They don't just leave you to go to the maritime training institution, get all the theory. No. You go there, get some theory, go back to the ship, practicalize it, if I would say. So that is the type of profession until you get to the captain. They say they are the master mariners on the navigation side, the engineers, chief engineers, right? So it takes a lot of input. When they say training mariners is not cheap, it's actually not cheap, because you can imagine going through those number of years under training. It's not an easy type of training parents can take on. That is why you see mostly governments are responsible for the training of mariners, companies, corporate organizations, charity organizations, they take over the training of mariners because of the cost involvement. Yes.
Now, coming back to the 16th AMES Marine Technical Summit, I believe that there are some papers or even panel discussions that will focus on the quality of manpower training that we do as a maritime nation. Please speak to it. I want to hear your own assessment, at least reviews. How well has Nigeria been doing? And if you think it's not high up there, what can Nigeria do more? What can we do more so that we are seen and known to be very strong contributors to maritime manpower globally beyond Nigeria?
Basically, when you look at our training, as you said, it's capital intensive. Now, based on our nation here today, the training is somehow, because I look at it sometimes it's incomplete, in the sense that when you look at the kind of vessels where people need to be trained, because you need a vessel where there should be kind of boilers, steam boilers, where some vessels they use the steam to run their power or to run their pumps to do some certain things. Now, when you look at most of the ships that we have right now in the coast, now you don't have them. Now, if you don't have these kind of things, for example, the boiler I'm talking about. Now, if you are trained, because you are trained from here to become a chief engineer, by the time you are a chief engineer at that level, it is hope you have now gone through that. Now, but as I said, most of the ships we have, offshore service vessels, that is what mostly we have. Unlike I was privileged to be trained by the government that time, So whereby we had boilers, whereby you are trained, you understand, because you find out that even in some of our MTS schools now, MTIs, now you find some people will come out, actually don't know what a boiler is. They're trained theoretically, but when they come to practicalize, they want to see how does it look like. But now you'll be posted to a ship that is offshore supply vessel where there is no boiler. It becomes a kind of, you will just start continue to imagine how it looks like and what you may know what is meant for.
I think I'm hopeful that if you have some discussions at that program, that event, it should do quite a lot.
Yes.
To show light on what it should be for the seafarers that are being trained today.
Yeah, so the onus lies on, the ship owners who need to buy ships for international trips, because most of our training, as I said, is supposed to be international, but the vessel we have, they are always localized. They are always localized. So,
another area I want to talk to, we are talking about the marine and the blue economy. And I know that the blue economy, firstly, people want to think or look at how well it is prospering the economy of locals, maybe those around coastal areas or even those around other areas. We've done so much, or we are doing so much within the blue economy. From your assessment, how well have we enjoyed economic prosperity within the blue economy? And then what other things can you advise? That's okay, government please, or even if they are private funders or people who want to investors, let's do investments in this area, because I know all the discussions about the technical summit, people want to know how well they can benefit from businesses, operations that they do within this sector.
Yes. That's how I wish the policymakers, politicians, government executives, how I wish we invited all of them. How I wish they present themselves that day, and they will hear from us. There will be interactive sections, right? They will hear from us, and again, it's not really for lack of talking. We'll be talking over the years. Blue economy or no blue economy.
Policies are important.
Yes. The likes of us. Sorry, if we don't talk about the past, we will not know where we are going. We must talk about the past, so we know where we get it wrong. I keep telling people, the likes of us were trained by a policy set up by a government years back. That was even years back, right? Okay. And look at what that policy has landed us today, where it has landed the country, because we know the extent. We were international beaters. When you have what is now defunct National Shipping Line, and that was the real source base of development of maritime. Yes.
National pride.
Yes.
National
Yes.
pride.
MPA was there, they had their own contribution. Even inland waterways, they recruited students based on that policy of developing the maritime manpower. Yes, in the 60s, 70s, those policies were driven constantly for more than 30 years without break. That's why you have the lack of us today that are managing the industry. But when you find typical Nigeria now, everybody is a gate crasher into whatever. The moment they know there is money there, whether they mean well or not. But the policies that should drive this maritime economy, I'm sorry to say, is haphazard. It's haphazard. Okay. It's not regulated.
Why that is taking note of?
Yes.
Can you, all of you can contribute to it? What areas pose the most significant concerns to this sector in Nigeria?
The maritime sector?
Yes.
Shipping development. Because you cannot have mariners without ships. Or more elaborately, trade. You cannot have ships without trade. There was even a time the United Nations.
Nigeria has cargo.
Where are they? Okay, who's carrying them? Which cargo are you talking about? Do we have cargo? We don't have cargo.
No, we have cargo.
What I mean, we don't have
sharing formula.
What I mean, we don't have cargo. Okay, those days our ships at least were carrying agricultural products for export, right? In as much as we're bringing in imports, at the same time we're carrying away exports.
And I know that a number of river ports used to work there.
Yes, then. Yeah, because they were cutting away all this thing for export. But where are the exports now? I can't see. Where are the exports?
To answer the question.
So the ships have to be provided but they have to be trade first. You cannot be foreign dependent. There was a provision of 40-40, the UNCTAD trade agreement,
40-40-20,
that was supposed to benefit third world countries like Nigeria, right? At the time, there was this so-called, they were not so-called, there was the conference lines.
Yes.
There were the conference, especially in the West African region, where National Shipping Line, the Black Star Line, the Cameroon Shipping Line, they were all booming. Because the trade was there then. So that was what actually encouraged the federal government to develop the maritime manpower to take advantage of the trade. After some time, they provided these brand new vessels, and they were doing very well until, okay, some of those vessels technologically became obsolete, let me say. That was one of the issues. But even if they were technologically obsolete, the onus was for the government to encourage individuals if they could no longer carry on privatization, right? Okay, every country does it. You invest in your whatever sector of the industry you think that is doing well, right? Every government gives what do you call it? Some incentive. Name all these big countries: Norway, Britain, America. They gave all those some at zero interest rates. Some 1%. Even today they are still doing it, right? But we are forever talking about CVFF fund, which can even buy one ship or at the best 2 vessels. Forever we're on it. But like I said, it took a government just one policy decision to develop the manpower. But why is it? That's why I said the ships are not even there. The only ships we have now are the offshore vessels because of the benefit of oil business. We have the crude oil. Even that one, Nigerian participation is minimal. We have, you see, there's a lot of, we have to keep talking about it. LNG, we have the LNG, which is not even compared to other type of sea trade. The LNG that should have benefited even Nigeria much more than National Shipping Line, right, is there. Things as simple as services as simple as ship chandling of those vessels. These are mighty vessels, big vessels, much bigger than even the ones National Shipping Line had. But they are being controlled by foreigners, and federal government is supposed to have majority share in that company. The simplest idea.
We'll come to that. He was contributing something to.
Yeah, my line of thoughts. What are the challenges? The president has highlighted some. And of course, the government should be the chief driver. And sincerely, personally, I don't owe anybody an apology. I'm not for government running shipping companies. Provide the enabling environment for Nigerians to run it. Like the president said, there was nothing wrong with privatizing Nigerian National Shipping Line. The viable shipping company in Africa, that's the South African one, was started as a government outfit, sold to the people. Kenya Airways, Ethiopian Airways was started by the company, by the government. They sold to private individuals within the country. So we must go back to the drawing board. Where did we get it wrong? The days of National Shipping Line, America was surprised the day a vessel that carried one of our national shipping lines went into port in the US. Their eyes were not open yet to believe that a vessel can be manned only by the blacks. They all came to the quayside with their mouth and I was trained by both Nigerian National Shipping Line and Eda Dempster, because there was not enough berth at that time to train our cadets. as a measure of goodwill, Edademstar Hamlet agreed to trade us. At that time, Edademstar was in union with the Malaysian shipping company. We had some Malaysian cadets on board. We felt very superior to them because they could not speak English. To be a Nigerian at that time on that ship was a pride. Nigerian cadets at that time, you go to any nautical institution in the UK, once you say you are a Nigerian, they will doff their cap for you.
My president has just mentioned it because the policies are there, and policy implementation is very, very crucial. Beautiful policies, but if they are not properly well implemented, it's as good as you don't have any policy. Now, you find out that there's good policy all around, said all this within a short time, you recruited people, they're trained, and so on and so forth. But while you are implementing it, I think I always tell a lot of people we don't have the political will. Because when you start to implement, you have a kind of distortions here and there. As you are implementing, do you monitor the implementation? Where do you want to reach? Have you reached half of the place where you are going to? Or along the way you abandon it? And once you abandon it, every place is disarray. That is why, honestly, to me, I find that we still have serious issue. Yeah, government policies are there, but the implementation, the execution is not good enough.
I think I get that. If we keep raising the issues, we'll finish talking all that should be said at the 16th AMES Technical Summit. We'll leave the rest for that day, which is the 19th day of September, just a few days ago, so that we can hear the paper presentations. We can also hear the panelists will be discussing those issues on that day. So I say thank you, Engineer Israel Obadan, President of AMES, the First Vice President, Engineer Oyedeji, and thank you also, Secretary of AMES, Engineer Kato Abuja.